anyone who goes online or whatever, you're bombarded with protein adverts. And, everyone's got a protein plus advert. And yet nobody is deficient in protein. We're all getting far too much and we're either peeing it out or putting it on as fat. But most of us are deficient in fiber, but there's no money in fiber.
Right.
So nobody is really pushing that, because also the other thing, if you sell fiber, it actually fills you up. So you're not as hungry, so you don't buy as much of that product. There's some interesting stories about people who've tried to add fiber to some sort of processed foods and found that it reduced sales because you don't eat or drink as much. Someone tried to add it to beer, which I thought was a cool idea, right? A healthy beer. But they saw that people were drinking 30% less because it filled them up. So we have this, whereas protein, just as, hardly changes anything. You're just as hungry and you'll buy many more of these protein bars.
And this is the challenge, I guess, is for the everyday man like me. I'm up against the companies that are spending billions of pounds to try and get me to buy their products, right? Along comes ultra-processed food to cause as many problems as we're trying to solve by knowing about the gut. So for people that eat a lot of ultra-processed food or who give their kids a lot of snacks and biscuits and crisps and things like that, I'd love you to explain to them what this ultra-processed food is actually doing to the gut.
So what is ultra-processed food is edible food-like substances is what I sort of like to call it.
Yeah.
It's fake food. So people have taken extracts of food, ground them down into powders and added flavorings and other things and stuck them together again. And that sort of food is now 60% of our diet. And the definitions are it's made from extracts of other real food rather than just adding salt to real food. And the definitions vary, and then they're not precise enough at the moment for it to help many individuals. But you sort of know it. If there's lots of packaging on it, it's got a long list of ingredients, and it's got often we've added something to make it look healthy, or it says low fat on it, or for you, low calorie. You might be attracted to it, but it's likely to be ultra processed. Yeah. And so that means it contains glue-like chemicals called emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, so they can call it low calorie or low in sugar. And these glues and these sweeteners and these colorants have negative effects on the gut microbiome. So lots of animal studies now showing that it disrupts the microbes in these animals and is more likely to give them diabetes or change their metabolism, make them hungrier, do all kinds of things. There's some human studies to support this, still not.
What's it actually doing then to those gut microbiomes?
We think, we don't know. All the artificial sweeteners have slightly different effects. So there's about 6 different ones used, often in combinations now to make it really confusing. And some of them, they just inhibit some of the microbes and promote some of the bad microbes. So the good ones are inhibited, the bad ones seem to like it. We don't really understand. The emulsifiers is easier. We think it makes the microbes stick together more because that's what they do in food, that they're gluing it together.
Right.
If you've ever seen an emulsifier, you sort of, it's like this porridge or an instant glue you're putting into the food that will bind it together. And we think your microbes can't function normally when they're slightly stuck. It's like they're walking in treacle. Yeah. And that means once they're under pressure, they might then produce different chemicals in response. So that's what we think happens to artificial sweeteners and emulsifiers. The microbes think there's something else going on, rather strange. They've never encountered these in nature, in evolution. And they think they're under threat, so they might then produce chemicals that send alarm signals to our immune system and then heighten it as if we're being infected or something else. So that's the current theory of at the gut level why it is. But there's also the idea that in virtually all cases, ultra-processed food has very little fiber. they're made from extracts of things, that means that the microbes are sort of semi-starving.
You know, Huel has been a staple of my diet for some time, and I'm currently loving these Huel Daily A to Z vitamins. Tastes great, refreshing. Each can has 26 vitamins and minerals, offering 154 science-backed health benefits. Reduced tiredness and fatigue, normal cognitive function, healthy skin, hair and nails, and vitamin D for immunity. This is a vitamin drink that offers everything you could need it to. So what are you waiting for? Grab it right now in Tesco stores nationwide or at huel.com and let me know what you think.
The good ones can't stay alive. We need these good ones to produce the good chemicals to keep the immune system going. So you've only got these ones relying on the occasional bits of sugar that are dropping down or other things that they can use. So you're changing a ratio of good to bad microbes. So that's the current idea of what's happening. And on top of that, you've still got this probably a direct effect on the brain that is possibly because your microbes feel they're starving, that these ultra-processed foods make you hungrier.
Right.
For the identical calories, because of the way they're structured together, and there might be multiple ways it happens, but the studies have been done are really clear cut that people overeat by 25 to 30% when they're just fed ultra-processed food. And and they're designed to be tastier. So some of it might be the fact that you've got this perfect combination of salts and fats and things. But it could be something else actually in the brain that's saying, well, these are artificial things, let's eat more of it because, our equilibration system's been reset.
And here's the real problem, I think, is us against big business, right?
Yeah, and they imagine a product that makes you overeat it by 30%.
Yeah.
Why would you change that product, right? It's
Correct.
like you've got this podcast, you can add this clip in and makes 30% more people see it.
Yeah.
Why would you voluntarily say, well, let's drop that?
And this is the really hard thing, I think, for people, is to try and work out actually what do they go for here? What do we buy? I suppose I wonder if we can ever win against big business.
I think we can. 80% of our food in the world is controlled by 10 companies. And some of them, I would say this, I think it's hard to change. There was a recent poll, Nestle shareholders had a vote to say, well, should we reduce the number of really bad products we have and try and have some healthier ones? And only 11% of their shareholders said do that because they were told, well, it might hit profits.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea.
I'm not surprised, are you?
No, but it's good there were 11%, of good people out there, who, rich people who had a conscience.